right, team. Thank you so much for jumping on. It is time to fasten your belts. We have created our vision and got a plan to do it. Now it's time to get after it. So we're going to get into that in great detail today and what we have planned for section 2 of Take Flight. But before I do that, I want to remind you of my professional purpose, and that is to help you, the broker, optimize your productivity and help you become the best version of yourself. Why? Because happy brokers sell more real estate. I do that by helping you handle challenges and opportunities that you face every single day. And if you can effectively manage certain situations that arise on a daily basis in your business, you'll be more productive and live a life that is the best version of you. On this 188th episode of my Monday Morning Pep Talk, I will continue Take Flight version 4.0 by starting the modules in section 2 of this training program. 2 weeks ago, we wrapped up the modules that covered areas like the mind, mindset, elimination, creating your 3-year vision, developing a planning strategy, and daily review of your vision. We referred to that portion, or section 1, as the cockpit of your aircraft. In section 2, we'll talk about areas that make up the tail of the aircraft. The tail of the aircraft provides that stability and lift needed to take flight and get to 30,000 feet. The second section of the course will take us through the majority of this second quarter, where you'll see topics discussed on systems, processes, habits, and routines used by ELPs and super achievers to create businesses and lives that are predictable and enjoyable. And they will help you stabilize your business so you can see that consistent growth in your business and your life that you desire, and take away the stabilization will take away those emotional peaks and valleys that 97% see regularly. So building a business that is predictable and enjoyable does take time. It requires planning, self-development, and consistent effort. And just as a little hint, you might want to go back and re-listen to episode 179, where we talk about consistency being your fuel. Now, as I mentioned throughout the first section of modules, none of what I teach over the course of section 2 will matter if you have not selected a destination, which is your vision, and developed strategies to get there. So make sure you dive back into those modules if you've not done so before you go too far into this section that I'm starting to teach today. You're going to get in this section all of that action stuff that many of you crave. Those of you that want to skip right over section 1 and get right into action, well, that's what we're going to get into in section 2. So it's time to fasten your seatbelts, and it's time to start executing on your vision and get you to your destination. Here are the top 10 systems, processes, habits, and routines that I see ELPs and super achievers use to get to 30,000 feet. And over the course of Q2, this is what I'm going to go into each one of these in great detail. Today, I just want to give you a little bit of an overview and talk at a high level of each area. Area number 1 is play on offense. This is a guiding principle that I have given myself. And what do I mean by playing on offense? Playing on offense means that you operate your day, your week, your quarter, your year, your 3 years in anticipation of getting what you need to do done. Okay, so that starts with a lot of planning. So specifically on a daily basis, this is where you master a morning routine so that when you get into the arena during the day, you can play on offense, right? And my feeling is if you win the day, you're going to win the week. If you win the week, you're going to win the quarter. If you're going to win the quarter, you're going to win the year. If you win 3 years in a row, you will get to your 3-year vision. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Number 2, get 1% better each day. Trust the process and track it. Once you've built your plan, all you got to do is just execute on it. Get 1% better every day. There's no doubt you're going to hear me get into Atomic Habits by James Clear, where he talks about this get 1% better every day, where after a full year, you're 37 times better than you were the year previous. If you just execute, you trust the process and you track it and make sure that what you promised yourself you get done. Number 3, model success. Somebody has already completed and done what you want to get done. This is what Take Flight's all about. Take Flight version 4.0 is all about me going back over 15 years and editorializing down to the basic details of what it takes to be successful. All you got to do is model that. Model Ninja. Model the other training programs that you have attended. It's been done before. Success has been created before. It's just a matter of going out and learning from those and have already cleared a path for you. Number 4, create a process, repeat it, and then improve it over time. So throughout your transactions, buyers, sellers, referrals, you have a process that you have in your head, okay? Many of you do not have that documented somewhere on a checklist or in your technology. Every single deal, you remake it, you just do it from memory, and you're costing yourself a lot of time. That's really what systems and processes, habits and routines are all about, is to save you time. Save you time. So you're going back through and you're just remaking your processes every single transaction. So what I see ELPs and super achievers do is they create a process, create checklists, use technology, and they improve that processes over time. Talk about that in a lot of detail. Number 5, create capacity. I see ELPs and super achievers realize that when they get to 25 transactions or 25 million in production, they have to add capacity to their business, some way, shape, or form, whether it be help in the field or help with marketing, transaction coordination. Too many people try to save a few bucks and don't invest in their business. But once you get to 25 transactions and 25 million in production, whatever comes first, you will plateau. You run out of time if you don't add capacity. You have to manage to 50 hours a week or less. Okay. Reality is once you get to hour 51, your ability to execute the way you need to execute diminishes dramatically for every hour that you work. We'll talk about that in more detail in an upcoming episode. Number 6, you want to collaborate. You want to create accountability partners. You need mentors and coaches. This is a lonely business. You need professional friends that you can work with, that you can share ideas, okay? That can hold you. I don't know that someone can hold you accountable. You got to do that for yourself. But man, when you engage other people to travel this journey with, makes a huge difference. Mentors and coaches will decrease the amount of time it takes you to get to where you want to go. And time is what it's all about. Time is a huge asset. It's the most important asset. Number 7, create boundaries and decision filters. You've heard me talk about if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. That is a boundary. That is a boundary. And we're going to go into boundaries and decision filters and in a session in great detail. What I see ELPs and high achievers do to make sure that they are creating a very tight, in some cases, very tight boundaries around how they operate, and they focus on their niche and they get really good at it and they go super deep into that niche. Number 8, super achievers and ELPs look at profit per hour. They manage to that. They keep they keep one eye on leaderboards, where they rank and all that, but really truly what they want is they want to get as much done as they possibly can in the shortest amount of time possible. And they get to a point where they don't care about comparing themselves to other people. What they really want to do is create as much time for themselves as they can. So it brings them to a scenario where they're really looking at what is my profit per hour. They also protect the downside. This is number 9. They protect the downside. What does that mean? What that means is if you see success and you're seeing growth, you just don't want to go backwards. Okay? You don't want to go backwards. How you do that is through a consistent drumbeat of action. Constant review of what you're doing to make sure that what you're working on has the best return on investment. From a financial standpoint, they are looking at making sure that they've got a cushion both in their business and in their personal economy, that if markets shift, that they can continue to go out there and market themselves and do what they need to do to continue to grow and take market share. And number 10, self-care, travel, and they know how to celebrate. Your body needs downtime, team. Your body needs to rest. It needs a certain amount of sleep. It needs time away to recapture your passion. We are in a culture of grinding, that hustle culture that many people are out there selling, which for most, if not all, has a huge downside. There's a huge downside. We just get into that hamster wheel and we don't come away from it long enough to really look at what we're doing and if we're doing what we need to do effectively. So self-care, travel, the ability to celebrate and look back on all your accomplishments is key. And I really see elite level producers and super achievers do this on a regular basis. So we're going to get into all those topics over the course of the coming weeks. By the end of this quarter, we will have gone through some really important parts. And I see about 75% of success will come from what we talked about in section 1 and we will talk about in section 2. It's all right there. Like I said, I'm here to help you model success. I've been studying it for a really, really long time, and I know what works because I've seen it, had a front row seat. The question I have for you today is, are you interested in this or are you committed? You've heard me ask that question before. You've heard other thought leaders ask that question before, but truly, are you here to get committed to what it is you want to create in your life, or are these calls entertainment? Are you committed or are you just interested? If you're committed, you will see your business and your life improve because you did what you needed to do to create that improvement. If you're interested, you're not going to do what you need to do consistently. And you're going to continue to see those peaks and valleys that the 97% see, right? It's the peaks and valleys that are so difficult, right? And we've seen some really, really high peaks in the last 2 years. And in the last 6 to 9 months, there's been some valleys. But that is this business and that's life. And you've got to prepare for that. But if you do what you need to do consistently over a long period of time, you will eliminate or decrease those peaks and valleys. The goal is to, like I said, get you to 30,000 feet. Fasten your seatbelts because this course currently has you on the tarmac, ready to take flight, headed for 30,000 feet, where you'll be able to pull those engines back and enjoy the flow that I want all of you to have every single day in your life and business. Really what it's all about. Pulling those engines back, business is working for you, working for your life, continues to improve daily. You get to where you want to go because you did what you needed to do. So like I said, fasten those seatbelts. It's going to be a fun quarter of bringing you this content. And what I talked about today, we're going to go into with great, great detail. And if you're not on my email list, you can get that, go on to my Instagram at Ask Jim Miller. There's in the profile link, you can download your name and email address, and I can put you on my email. But every week, I'm going to have a book recommendation. I'm going to have a product review. I'm going to have the recording, and I'm going to have the transcript from the call. And what I've heard from people is they really like to read this. If you're a visual learner, that email is going to be a really good addition to hearing this call either live or on the podcast. So thank you guys very much. We'll be back next week, and we're going to talk about rituals, both morning rituals and Sunday rituals, and those things that we need to do to play on offense. So join me next week, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, team. Have a good week. Bye.